Okay, so now that we talked about market research, the next place that we want to go is actually looking at selecting a niche. Remember, they're different. A market encompasses a very broad range of, it can have multiple niches in it, right? Like the sports market could have, has multiple big niches in it. So you can understand market trends of, say, where sports are heading or what consumers are buying and shopping at, but actually looking at what niche you want to sell into is when you're starting to narrow in and take that market research and going a step deeper, right? So some of the criteria to select a good niche. Number one, large enough for scale. All right, now this is my criteria. I'm not going to say that these are the only rules, but this is what I believe is the best criteria to select a niche. Large enough for scale. So there's different platforms on which, or different, not platforms, different channels on which you can sell, right? So say, for example, Facebook is a channel, Google is a channel, Instagram is a channel, right? And you want to make sure that your niche has a large enough number of people that you can scale into these, okay? Because if it doesn't, then you're looking at a niche that might cap out and not be something that is sustainable long term or really able to reach the type of profit that you want. So in terms of numbers, for I would say on Facebook, which is generally the main platform that a lot of people start, Facebook and Instagram, you want to see at least 10 million people, right? You want to see at least 10 million people that's 10 million monthly active users in that niche, and we'll look at how you can identify that, but that's going to let you know that you're on the right track, that you have something, that there is a large enough audience for you to be able to actually continue scaling and continue making money consistently. Proven buyers market. You want to pick a niche that has actual money being spent in it. If there's competition, that's a good thing because competition means money is being spent. There's a reason that those companies are there, right? So you don't want to pick a niche that nobody's ever sold into or something that is you're creating a brand new market, the brand new niche that is like if for example if you watch the show Shark Tank, and even if you don't, it's an investment show, but you'll see sometimes people will come on there and they'll have an idea that seems like a good idea, but there's no existing niche for it. Like they're trying to create a brand new niche, and most of the time those ideas get shot down because they're number one, it's difficult to prove the concept. It's going to take a lot of education. It's going to take money and investment, right? It's not a proven buyer's market. So when you're in e-commerce, there's so many proven buyers markets in so many ways that you can scale into an existing market like apparel or selling jewelry, selling home goods, selling um, any of these, selling in the self-help, personal development, health and beauty, relationships, right? Like these are massive proven buyers markets that you can niche down and know that you're going to be able to sell and that they're large enough to actually scale. Easily identifiable market, same kind of the same thing, but in the sense that you want to be able to know who your audience is. If you look at something and you're trying to think about, okay, who would buy this? Who do I sell this to? That's the wrong way, right? Like you want to identify a niche first and then think about what solves a problem for them or what would they really love or what would they just really want to have, right? Not look at something like a product, some kind of abstract product idea, and then say, okay, who can I sell this to, right? That's the backwards way of doing it. Quick producing market. What I mean by that is that it doesn't require a lot of education. Okay, it's something that it's something people understand when they see. Like for example, sewing a T-shirt. There's no explanation needed on that, right? You can quickly go to market with a great T-shirt design, setting up a Shopify store, and using a print-on-demand app, and start making money like right away based on the success of your design. And if you know how to actually set up a Facebook ad and get it in front of people, you can literally be making money very quickly. It's a quick producing market. Same thing with drop shipping, right? It's something, and those are I understand that that's kind of the business model, but what I mean is that you can find an audience, you can find a product, and all you have to do is put that product in front of them and you can start making sales. That's a quick producing market. It doesn't require a lot of education. It's not overly complicated. And then the three P's is number five, pride, passion, problem. I believe that these are some of uh, the biggest triggers in buying, right? If somebody has pride in something, if somebody has passion in something, or if there's a problem that you can solve for people. So looking at the big money niche ideas, and this is just something, you can screenshot this or keep this for your reference, but self-help and wealth, hobbies and jobs, health and beauty, exercise and fitness, family, relationships, and love. I'm not going to go through all of them. You can read them, but these are just, there's no explanation really needed here. These are really big niche categories that are always going to be something, these are big niche categories that are always going to be successful. They're always going to be there. They're evergreen categories. There's always going to be people to sell to, and there are so many sub niche categories within each of these that allow you to kind of narrow in on an audience and build a nice brand. So a lot of times, you could take any one of these and you could be successful. Now you're going to have to niche down a little bit, right? Like these are the broadest levels, but I'm just trying to give you the categories that meet these criteria, right? That are proven large enough to scale, proven buyer's market, easily identifiable. They're quick producing. Like you could come into any one of these and you could find products and start selling and making money quickly, right? Based on the idea of understanding how to advertise and market. And pride, passion, problem, right? Apply to all of these. People that are in these are in people that are in this niche are part of this audience, and any one of these are in there for one of those reasons generally. Either they have pride in what they do, like musician, or exercise and fitness, hobbies and jobs. Either they have passion, like pets and animals, or fantasy fandom collectors, or you can solve a problem for people, like in self-help or wealth, or health and beauty, cooking and eating, and multiple ones fit multiple different categories, but you get what I'm saying. So these are some big money niche ideas. Now, obviously, like I was just saying, you don't want to go too broad. Okay, I'm not saying that you just stop at health and beauty. Okay, the more you can narrow in on a specific audience, which is called a sub niche, the more brand value you will have in marketing. So, say instead of just, let's say an example here, like say instead of just fitness, the next category down could be men's fitness. Then instead of just men's fitness, another category down could be men's fitness for guys ages 45 and older. Okay, and then even yet another category could be men's fitness for men over 45 who also have back problems. Right now you've gotten really specific, but you're still probably in a large enough area that you could really serve that audience well and build brand value. Okay. Now, I want to look at a few ways that you can validate your niche idea in terms of numbers, right? And actually see like, okay, what are the real numbers behind this niche idea? All right, so now we're over here in Google Keyword Planner, and it looks a little bit different than the screenshot on my screen because it's recently been updated. But anyway, this is what you'll see. All right, when you have it's a free account to sign up with Google AdWords and ads.google.com if you don't. And when you come over here to tools, you'll see the section for Keyword Planner. This is a really powerful tool because it's going to give you exact forecasts and search volume on what people are searching. Okay, and this can be powerful in two ways. Number one, it's going to help you validate the demand for something, and number two, it can show you how people think and what related items might be around that niche. So say for example, we wanted to look at, we looked at something earlier called Couple Choices. That's a store that's out there. So say we wanted to look at couple shirts and see if this is a valid trend or a valid niche that people actually, that there's demand for. Not niche. So I can type in couple shirts. Okay. Click get started. All right, so it's giving me a forecast right now. That's mostly meaningless. What I want to do is come here to that's not meaningless, but what I want to do is come here to keyword ideas. This is what I really care about. Now you see I have it set here to the United States. I have it set to Google. That's what I would keep it at, again, because I'm really just looking at the US marketplace as a kind of an indicator for a worldwide demand. So if I come here and I type in couple shirts and I click get results, down here you're going to see the actual average monthly searches, okay? So you can see that this is actually something that is getting searched a lot, right? Anything, in my opinion, that's over 10,000 searches a month as a single keyword is a sufficient amount of demand to prove. That means 10,000 people a month are searching this, right? This is at 18,000. Now, collectively, you also want to look at, see these other keywords that come up. This is ideas that you're getting right here. So not just, I mean, couple shirts is kind of the same thing as couple t-shirt, but let's see what else we have. Funny couple shirts, his and hers shirts. You know, collectively, if you look at the combined keywords here, and you can sort it by average monthly searches to see what the best ones are. So now I would stay away from this, even though it's searched a lot. That's obviously going to be a trademark item. But couple shirts you can see is getting 18,000 hits. King and queen shirts, another 8,000. Matching couple shirts, another 8,000. His and hers, another 5,000. So clearly there is demand for this niche, right, that people are searching for. Now, look, Google's also giving us related terms. So that's awesome, right? Because now I see couple hoodies might be something as well that I can search, get results. And so I can also see there's demand here. So now we're already starting to build out the different sub niches or subcategories of what we can sell, right? And we can keep going through and getting more ideas. Okay, so that's a way that Google Ads can validate a niche idea for you by showing you, is there actually demand in the marketplace for this? And for me personally, what I like to see is 10,000 searches a month or above, collectively across the keywords that have to do with whatever you searched, because that lets you know that there's some sufficient demand there. Now, the next idea is Google Trends. Okay, we talked about Google Trends as a way to find ideas, but it's also a place that you can validate ideas. Okay, because you can come to Explore and you can search by a search term. Right now, I'm also going to set this again back to the United States. Past 12 months is fine. Google Shopping is generally, again, because that's what matters the most. Are people searching what is within Google Shopping? Let's type in couple shirts. Now, it's really up and down, right? So sometimes what I'll also do is I'll look at, okay, what does the web search look like? Because obviously this is an item that if somebody searches this on the web, it's going to bring back shopping results. It's not going to bring back information, okay? It's not that type of search term. People know if they're looking for couple shirts that they're looking for something that they can wear, okay? So you can switch off and on based on what you want to see here, but what I'd like to see on Google Trends is definitely consistently above 50. All right, now it's coming down a little bit here, probably just after Valentine's Day and just being the beginning of the year. We can look though to see, okay, how consistent has this trend been? So you can see over time that it does go up and down, but going back 5 years, this is something that is consistently at least in like the 50 line or above, which is generally good enough for me, right? Obviously, the higher it trends, the better, but if you're generally above 50, and this number is based on 0 being no interest, right? Not trending at all, 100 being maximum trend, like there's a lot of interest. It's not compared to other items or anything like that. It's just Google giving you an idea of, in the overall trend scale of things that get searched, how does this compare? What kind of consistency does it have? You definitely want to see something that's consistently trending above 50, right? And you can look for the past 5 years to get ideas of patterns within, year to year the marketplace. If it doesn't have that much history, then just stick to 1 year. Okay. But this is something I would say passed the test. It's validated. Now it's trending down a little bit here, but just based on the past, you would normally want to be careful about that. But based on the fact that the past 5 years it has a consistent trend, I wouldn't let that really. It's still pretty much at the 50 line here, and it was way higher than that before. Now, as an example of something that's not trending, this was an item that we're going to look at that was doing really well before. Last year, a lot of people were selling this and made a lot of money. I'll show you exactly how well you can see this if you spread the graph. Look, you can see that it spiked hard and trended down. So this is an example, obviously, of something that is not a niche that you want to get into, right? It trended really hard for a while and then it dropped off, okay? So that's how using Google Trends can help you validate whether a niche is good to be in or not. And you want all of these to line up. I would not sell into a niche if it doesn't align with every single step that I'm showing you here. Last one is using audience insights on Facebook, right? Because even though it has demand on Google, we still want to make sure there's an audience for it on Facebook, and we want to get a little bit of the data about that audience to see who we'll be marketing to. So Audience Insights is a tool in your business manager. When you come to all tools, it's here under the plan section, right? And it shows you what an audience looks like. So if we were to go with the couples example, now the thing is about this is you have to identify your audience in terms of interests, right? You have to now be using Facebook audience where you can see they have interest here. So it's not going to be it's not always going to be by keyword, right? Like if I type in couple shirts here, there's not a keyword for that, okay? But if I type in relationship, there are keywords for that. So if I type in relationships, you see I have 800 and 900 monthly users. Okay. What about married? Okay, let's just come down to relationship status and make it easier. Because generally for something like this, I know that this is my market, right? People who are in a relationship, people who are married, people who are engaged. So let's select them all because these all generally apply and see what we have on Facebook. Okay, that's not correct. Okay, Facebook's giving a glitch. That's not correct, only 10,000 to 15,000 people. Let me try. There we go. I was just too specific. Okay, so people who are in a relationship, people who are engaged, people who are married, which would all fit within the couple shirts, right? That are 18 and older, both men and women in the United States. Active monthly audience of 80 to 90 million people. Now you can start to see why this is a great niche to sell into because there's demand for it and there's a large audience for it and there's a lot of people that could fall into this niche. Now, it doesn't mean that all these people are going to be interested in wearing couple shirts. No, of course not. But you have a large starting point here to be able to go into the relationship niche. And you can get a little bit of an idea then once you see, okay, there is demand for this. There's at least 10 million people. You see it gives it to you in monthly active people. So there's at least 10 million monthly active people in this. And then you can take it a step further and kind of look at where the heavy portion of that lies. Most of it is in married and with a quarter of it in a relationship. So you start to see maybe your focus is married, okay? And we can remove the other two. We're at 50 to 60 million monthly active people, okay? 59% women. Most of this audience falls right in the 25 to 54 range. So you start to get an idea of what your audience looks like, okay? And you can come over to here. You can see what their top categories of page likes are, the things that they like the most. And this just gives you, I mean, this is really, really broad level at this point, but it can give you some ideas of where to start to think. Because if these are the top brands, then maybe they have marketing campaigns that you can go and look at and start to get an idea of how these successful companies are marketing to the same audience that you want to market to. Okay. These are the top websites. So you could go and look at these pages and look at these websites to see what kind of website it is, what kind of stuff they're selling, what are they marketing, how are they marketing, what kind of brand did they build, what's their message, right? So there's some good stuff that you can get there as well. Down here, same kind of thing. So that's the way that I would validate niche, right? Because generally you're going to start on either Google or Facebook, but you want to be using both of them, right? Ideally, you want to be using both of them in your marketing, whether you start with Google and then retarget on Facebook and start marketing on Facebook, or you start with Facebook and then you start opening a Google campaign. Either way, I think that these three steps are what you should be looking at to validate if your niche idea is good. And if there's not an audience and it doesn't validate it at all three of these, then I would look for something better. All right, see you in the next video.